Hey there, Bookkeeping Side Hustle community. It's Kate. I am here today with Mariette Martinez to talk about the accounting services journey from compliance to confidence. Mariette is great at helping people find their find their confidence. She's a longtime friend. We've met in person several times. I saw her this summer at Scaling New Heights, and we, at that point, we're like, we're going to do something this year, and so we're making it happen. Today is going to be like a masterclass for accountants and bookkeepers who are ready to clarify their accounting role. It's hard to articulate your role to clients if you don't really understand what it is. So especially as the accounting profession is evolving so quickly, she's going to help us, have that conversation about how to see where we fit in the journey. There's lots of spots for people with our skill set, y'all. It's a really beautiful spectrum, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. And she will invite everyone to, this is kind of a sneak peek of a larger free program that she's going to have October 29th through 31st of this year, where it's called Know Your Accounting Role. And we'll be able to dive into that, a little bit more. She'll tell us about that. But everyone's invited to that, and the link to that is below in the YouTube description. Be sure to subscribe to the Bookkeeping Side Hustle channel if you're not subscribed yet. And now I'm just going to say, Mariette, welcome. Glad you're here.
Yay. Thank you. I am so excited to be here. Yes, I have created something specific for your community. And as Kate said, this has been on my bucket list or wish list or goals list, whatever you want to call it, all of them. I have been loving what Kate's been doing for so many years. Her and I we crossed paths for several years. And then we finally really created some beautiful things together, including the Accounting Cornerstone, which we're in the foundation together. We've seen each other at conferences, and our mission is just so beautifully aligned in so many ways. So this is definitely a dream come true. So thank you, Kate. I want to always start with gratitude and just share how excited I am to be here. And because of that, I created something extra special for this group. So as Kate mentioned, so I talk a lot about knowing your accounting role. I am an accounting, bookkeeping, and tax professional of I keep on saying I have to add the years, so it's close to 30 years now, which is like, don't do the math. Yes, I started when I was 5.
Yeah, five.
Five, right? And so, but yeah, almost 3 decades. And it was about a decade ago that I personally had my own real kind of epiphany and moment of truth saying, that's a lot of information I need to start giving back. And so about 10 years ago, I started a journey to start giving back. I started partnering with organizations that would provide me opportunities to teach and platforms to share. And this is just another opportunity to that. So you may have seen me, let's say, teach into a QuickBooks, or you may have seen me at another event. But today we're just here hanging out. So just know that this is a super open, safe space. And I would love to have some conversation and some chat. So if you're in chat, please put it in the chat. I know we are live on YouTube, which I love. Kate is so geeky around all that stuff. And I mean, I love that. I think she may be live in other places, but I don't even want to think about it because that's kind of, but I'm sure she is. So yeah, come on in, everyone. Chat. I'll let Kate do, woman, the back end of that. But I just want you all to be super engaged, because this is not just about me standing here and teaching. This isn't a conference. This is a great conversation. And again, I'm grateful to have it alongside Kate. Okay, are we sharing my screen yet, Kate?
No, I'm sharing your screen. While I do that right now, I want to say, y'all, in the description, she also hangs out on LinkedIn. So there's her your LinkedIn profile's there. That'd be a great way to just stay connected with her. And she has a YouTube channel. So if y'all are asking after the fact, your YouTube channel is it Master Your Books?
It is. Yeah.
So we can continue that chat if you tag her in the comments of YouTube after the fact as well. We can kind of start connecting channels in that way a little bit too. So she is there and she's on LinkedIn. Any comments that y'all leave after the fact we will make sure that Mariette can see as well. So
yeah, and I love the connection.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that how we can all be connected in different ways, which sometimes feels overwhelming because does it mean I have to be in so many different places? No, it just means people like Kate and I that want to connect with you. We're going to try to be in maybe a couple of places so you can connect with us.
Yep.
And so you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, as Kate mentioned, yes, connect with me. I also will share a few other resources at the very end in regards to how you can stay connected. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, I'm very animated. So I'm going to just kind of get us started, and I will take off my camera for a little bit so then you can focus completely on what we're covering. But let's go ahead and get started with the overall experience, which is the accounting services journey from compliance to confidence. Interesting enough, it's actually from compliance to consulting is the journey I teach, but I love how Kate called it confidence, because I think it's truly a transformation from, thinking about I have to provide compliance and then I want to build a confidence to build more. So I kept her title because I thought it was perfect
Nice.
in regards to what we're going to be covering today. Yeah, so that's all Kate right there. She didn't even know. And so what are we going to do? So first, I want to let you all know this is a condensed version of a full masterclass that I have. So I have a masterclass on, so I have my own learning center called Master Your Books, as Kate mentioned. I have my learning center, but I also have a separate community. And a lot of my free sources, I like to put it in my community because, again, you can join for free and you can get access to some free resources and classes. So I'll share at the very end, but this full journey I'm sharing today is free for you as well, and I'll share that as well. I also want you to know this is a space for you to get clear on your role. Before we started, Kate and I were talking about how it's important to kind of figure out, like, where do I stand? Where am I going next? We talk a lot about where we're going next, especially since she knows I'm obsessed with goal setting. Yes. And so, when you goal set, it's because you allow yourself to gain a little bit of focus. You slow down a bit, which is very difficult for some of us, including me. And then you reflect on where you want to go next. And so, again, I want you all to think about today's session as an opportunity to do that. So I will, from time to time, slow down my voice, slow down my pace, because I want you to also do the same. Okay. So that's important. And this is our invitation to grow our communities. So as Kate said, I want us to continue to grow together. So this is our opportunity to grow our communities together. So our journey exploration. So this is every time I get together with anybody, it's an exploration. It's an opportunity to explore with one another. So we're going to start with clarity, because starting with clarity really provides that direction. And we all have different directions. We're coming from different places. And so I want to be open and honest about that. And I want to give you an opportunity to think about your clarity. Then we're going to talk about what I call the two paths with one direction. Then we're going to cover a bit about accounting compliance. And I want to start introducing you to this concept of that there are roles in the accounting industry. And once you know your role, you choose your direction. I don't know, when I say that, I even feel excited. Oh, I get to choose what I can do. Yes, you get to choose. This is not a one size, one industry fit all, which I think is incredibly empowering. And again, to Kate, being here with Kate today, I just want to let her know that I appreciate why she created the bookkeeping side hustle, because she knows that people are doing this coming from different places in their lives. And so it really provides that opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to create my own journey, my own path, my own way. And so, okay, there is a path we all need to take first, and then we create our own way. So I just want to be clear about that. We're going to talk just a tad about accounting consulting. I want to talk really about some common questions people ask me about accounting consulting, because again, in my practice, after about 10 years in corporate accounting, I opened a practice. I had it open for about 17, almost 18 years, and I went straight into consulting. So I did bookkeeping, I did accounting, and I provided accounting consulting, or many people call it advisory, and also tax advisory and planning as well. And so I'm going to answer some questions around that. And then I'm going to share what's next so we can continue to hang out and play together. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, wait for it. Yes, you're going to get a bunch of free stuff. Okay. So I'll share it with you at the end. Okay. So when I get the let's get the class, that means I need to get the class. So I'm going to turn off my camera and get super focused with all of you.
That's when she means business, y'all. That's when she means
yes, it does. Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I don't mess around. And I'll be bringing in Kate as well in a bit, so I can tell she's ready. All right. Welcome, everyone, to this exploration of the accounting services journey from bookkeeping to accounting consulting. I'm super excited to share this time and conversation with all of you, because the accounting services journey is not just about services. It's actually about who we are becoming as intentional accounting partners and professionals when we choose to build our service journey. And this journey can be a roadmap that provides us a clear sense of direction. And when we've learned that, or when we believe that, then we know that the first place to start is clarity. Starting with clarity. In today's fast-paced, technology-forward accounting professional world, because yes, we're all those things, clarity is absolutely everything. Before we can build, evolve, automate, and scale our businesses based on what we want to see in our business, we must first need to understand who we are. What do we want to actually do? And why is our role that we play in the work and life for our clients so important? And this clarity is the foundation for every engagement and relationship that you have and create with those that you serve. So here's what makes this even more exciting. Yes, we are in a technology and automation and AI forward world, but I want you to listen to me just for a moment. It is not replacing us. It's refocusing us. This new world that we're living in is taking care of all those repetitive, routine, transactional tasks, so we can now refocus into building meaningful, intentional, and heart-centered, valued relationships alongside our clients. And guess what? This is exactly what they're desiring from us. This is the value that lies in creating these new relationships, these new conversations. And again, clarity is going to bring you the confidence to build this new, redesigned journey for yourself and for those that you serve. And it's also a turning point. And I get chills when I think about this, when I really go deep and think about that we're in a turning point in our industry to reframe so many things that we've learned. This is happening around us. We're literally moving from a transactional service provider world and industry to a transformational one. And to become transformational, we're guiding our clients through this transformation. And more importantly, we're guiding them through what's possible and what's next. And yes, it's an absolute shift. It's a shift in all of us from transactions to transformation. And that, my friends, is the heart work. I didn't say the hard work. I said it's the heart work. Because we need to return to the heart. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why did we choose this industry? We need to return to why we want to create those heart-centered relationships so we can refocus and build those deeper relationships with our clients. And that's why I also like to say, my friends, this is your opportunity to evolve. This is your opportunity to choose your right direction. Because as we started in the beginning, this is your path. This is your direction. And I believe every accounting professional needs a compass, needs a true north, needs a true North Star, a goal to keep them grounded in this purpose and to keep them focused on their right direction. So I'm going to give you an example. For me, when I think about standing here, because I'm on a standing desk, so I'm actually looking at my computer. I'm thinking about all of you that are going to watch this now or in the replay. And I think about, what is my true north for you? What is my goal for my accounting, bookkeeping, and tax professionals? And when I think about that, it's so simple and it's clear, and it needs to be, so that way I can have direction when I design, when I deliver, when I educate all of you, and when I create that from a transformative perspective. So this is my goal. When someone is learning from me, I want them to expand their accounting skills so that it can create more opportunities for more money. Yes, it's great. It's okay. It's a great thing to have more money so we can create more delight in our lives and those lives that we touch and serve, and also more impact. So whenever I create a transformative experience, that's my goal. That's my true north. That's my compass. When I think about my Master Your Books community and every other community that's willing to collaborate and co-create with me, which is exactly what's happening right now here with Kate's community. Okay, so that's my goal. That's my direction. I just clearly stated it out. And again, I've practiced that. I've written it down. I've rewritten it. So don't feel any pressure. But I really believe that you all have a chance as well to think about that just for a moment. So just reflect for a moment. Again, sometimes if you're not driving or doing anything with machinery, you could even take a deep breath, pause. Okay, it's so hard for us to pause, but just reflect just for a moment and think about where you're at right now on this journey. Imagine you're in a crossroads and you have the opportunity to choose your direction. So if you're a bookkeeper, for example, are you building those financial foundations? Are you building those accounting compliance principles into your business or into your journey? And now that you're learning and completing these foundations, you're ready to move from transactions to providing trusted data and insights. Are you an accountant? So you've actually already moved into the accounting journey. You've already really mastered the accounting compliance. So now you want to be able to interpret and you want to ensure the compliance and accuracy is happening year round. And so you now are working with businesses to make sure they are solid. But are you ready now to take those insights and decisions and have those conversations with your clients? Or are you a consultant and advisor already? So you're already translating numbers. You're already transforming clients with real-time financial insights. But what's next for you? How are you going to bring more strategies? How are you going to encourage your clients to be more proactive with your decisions? How are you going to make your conversations more meaningful? So each one of those roles matters. Each one of those roles actually builds upon one another. And together, building into this journey, wherever you decide to go, you are building into the heartbeat of that small business owner. So with that being said, we're going to take 1 minute, and Kate and I can do it as well. I love doing this. We're going to take 1 minute to reflect. Reflect on this moment, why you're here, why you're showing up. Reflect on all the effort you put up to this point to get to where you're at. But what do you believe is going to help you move forward? It can be anything. It could be learning something. It could be attending something. It could be participating in something. It can be building something new into your business. But what do you believe is going to help you right now where you're at in your accounting journey to continue to move forward? Because every step forward counts. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn on this timer. Don't worry about the time. We're going to give it about a minute. I'm going to get just a quiet because I do want to see if y'all can participate just a bit to go ahead and write this down. It's just a minute. Okay, you don't have to put your head up. You have about 20 more seconds. Okay, I know that goes super fast. And of course, I would be doing this for a lot longer. And I usually would give you an opportunity to really think deeper. But again, I just wanted to help you feel into an exercise that can help you do this. So what we're going to do just for a moment, I can do this with, of course, I want to do this with Kate. But if we see any chat, I'd love to call that out too, if you're comfortable with it. But Kate, just I'm curious, how does that feel like to really kind of set the stage for where we're at in our own personal journey, and then allowing yourself to reflect and write something down? And did something come up for you?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if I like broke all the rules because I wrote 2 things down, and I'm thinking,
No. I love
probably
that.
I should have 1.
Overachiever.
I'm always extra. So I wrote, I'll tell you what I wrote. I wrote hiring a right hand.
Yes.
That's not a good job description though. I can't put a job description for Kate needs a right hand, but I don't know, figuring that out. Perhaps though, of a good person who wants to learn from me and grow from me. I think I bring a lot to the table in terms of the skills I've developed. So, I think it would take I need someone who's kind of like junior and willing to like keep us, assist me and help push me. The other thing I wrote was, selling to accountants, selling to peers. Just worked so hard to learn my skills. FreshBooks is what I'm specialist in, and I really don't translate that to accounting pros. And I think that's probably where I am next. In a meaningful way, like in a good, like make a good amount of money way, like start taking what I have learned because I feel uniquely equipped to do that. So it's scary. I don't know what it looks like. There's lots of ways to sell and to support accounting pros and get compensated for the value that I bring. So figuring out what that looks like, whether it's like webinars or like courses or cohorts of people, but that's what I wrote down.
I love that. And, I wanted to share, figuring out what that looks like. Don't worry about that. Like it's going to happen. And I know you have the support. I've already told you I would support you on that. So like we can do the ideation, we can do that co-creation. But I think the most powerful part of what you did in writing not 1, but 2 things down, which I love, is that's just allowing yourself to remind yourself and really validate that's what's important to you right now. Sometimes we forget to just tell ourselves, well, but this is what's important. So this is what I'm going to put on a sticky, create an affirmation, have it all over my wall. You know what I mean? Like that's what's important. Say it to myself in the morning, every morning in the mirror. Like you're just reminding yourself and really giving, and not only that, sharing it with the world, which actually creates more reality and more accountability that this is important to you. And so now people have heard it. I've heard it. Others have heard it. And you're really giving it to the universe, right? You're really stepping into that direction. So I love that so much. If anybody else wants to share, feel free to do it. I see that Lainey says bookkeeper and consultant. Okay, I love that. We're going to go a little bit more into what those roles look like. And yeah, it can definitely be related to your role, but it can also be related to anything that's going to support you to move forward. So I love Kate's were more about like what's next for her. What does that look like? So any answer is good. And that's why, again, that was just a practice of doing it, but feel free to do it as many times as you like. I'm not going to go into goal setting right now, but there's even times of the year that's, helpful to do it as well. And always, if you can, whether you do it on your own, also try to bring somebody in to do it with, because it just creates such a different experience. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to start transitioning out of, the stage setting and this conversation, and we're going to go into the 2 paths and 1 direction. So now that we've grounded ourselves in clarity and we've given ourselves an opportunity to think about our true north, let's start mapping out where we're heading. And again, now the rest of this conversation is going to focus on the accounting services journey specifically, because once you have that clear direction of the accounting services journey, the next step is understanding your pathways. So what are your pathways? So 2 paths, 1 direction. So I love to share that the power of knowing the full accounting services journey is knowing that there are 2 clear paths you can take based on the true north. So remember, we chose our true north. And that's why I wanted you to do that before I even talked about these paths, because I can't tell you where you're going. You could only tell yourself where you're going. And then you can apply the rest of this learning to that. So understanding that, yes, there's 2 paths, but we all go in the same direction. And the first path is always accounting compliance. On this path that we're building, For ourselves and our clients, we're focusing on financial foundations, on accounting principles, on making sure books are accurate, on making sure records are complete, and making sure businesses are compliant. That's why it's the accounting compliance journey. Once that compliance path is solid, and I always say once you've helped them and guided them towards building tax-ready books, which is something I've been teaching for 20 years, not only alongside partners, but I have my own course on tax-ready books. Once you've been able to help your business owners reach tax-ready books, that's when the accounting professional actually starts transitioning into their own path. And so you can clearly see here, I am showing you that now you can open up. Now you open up and you move forward with accounting consulting, and you choose what that looks like. That's the power there. You get to choose what that looks like. So I love to teach this. Again, this is just kind of a teaser to what I teach in my Know Your Accounting Role series, and this is the first day, is I want you to really get grounded on knowing your accounting role. And so again, I like to share this from a concept of the accounting compliance is the North Star, is your compass. It's the true north for all accounting professionals. And once we've mastered the compliance path and we've built that solid foundation, which means we've built trust with our business owners, then yes, we have vast opportunities to grow, to specialize, and to expand into different accounting consulting roles. So whether you're deciding to start from the ground up, let's say you're completely starting from the ground up, or you're maybe somewhere on this path, you want to make sure you've mastered those foundations, you've mastered accounting compliance, and then you get to choose your role going forward. So this is the full journey. This is the full knowing your accounting role journey. So I do a lot of journeys. So, you're going to see a lot of my paths. I love that because I feel like frameworks are so empowering. So this is your Know Accounting Role framework that I've created that shares with you the one path, like we're all going in the same direction, but you can see that there's really two smaller paths that you can take, with the first one being, again, the North Star, the true north. We all need to make sure that our clients are completing and reaching accounting compliance, which means the bookkeeping, the accounting, and the taxes. So that's 1, 2, 3. When they have completed that accounting compliance path, we know they have tax-ready books. Okay. We know that they are filing, they're solid, they feel confident about their books, but now we can move forward with the consulting. And that's why, again, I love the concept of this being about from compliance to confidence, because you do need to build the confidence when you decide to move forward into the accounting consulting roles. Here are just a few of them: accounting advisory, tax advisory, chief financial officer. But again, as I mentioned, those are the 3 most common ones, but you can build from there. So we're going to go ahead and just slightly cover accounting compliance. Again, remember, you have this full course for free, but I do want to cover accounting compliance and just the overall concept of how to step into those roles, since it is the true north for business owners and accounting partners. So I call it the ABC path. Very simple. Okay. A being bookkeeping. We start with bookkeeping. We move forward towards accounting, which is B. Once we know that the accounting is solid, we know the clients and ourselves have gotten into a stage of accounting compliance, and then we can move forward with C if we choose. Again, that's your path. So we want to make sure always that accounting compliance is the first path and the first direction. So what's included in compliance? Well, you always start with bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is the process of organizing, managing a business's financial data and records year round. It's really that simple. Of course, we can decide on what that looks like. A simple way of explaining it is you're receiving the data, you're recording the data, you're reviewing the data, you're reconciling the data, and then essentially you're getting them to the point where they can report this data onto financial statements. That's bookkeeping. Of course, we have full service bookkeeping, and when we have full service bookkeeping, we may be including more tasks. Now we're talking about the actual tasks that we're doing. So are we providing monthly bookkeeping? Are we doing month-end reconciliation? reconciliations? Are we doing special reconciliations throughout the month because maybe they have sales taxes, maybe they have payroll taxes? Are we providing them financial statements? Now, we're only providing them the statements. We're not auditing the statements. We're not doing a professional review. You'd have to be a certified public accountant to do that, but you absolutely can prepare the financial statements. You possibly are giving them technology and technical training. Absolutely. I shared in the beginning, we are in a tech forward industry, a tech forward era where we actually are working with technology alongside our own accounting journey and our clients. So keep that in mind. We may be doing some more in-depth tasks like accounts receivable, accounts payable, maybe doing payroll or assisting with payroll, and of course, other related tasks specifically to that unique business model. So these are, again, more full services that we may be providing as bookkeepers. Now let's move into the accounting role. So now we're in the accounting role. At this point, the bookkeeping is done. And that's what's so important. I want everyone to understand you can't do accounting unless you've done bookkeeping. It's so clear. And I don't know why sometimes that is not understood. I just do bookkeeping. You don't just do bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is essential. You can't actually get to any other role or any other stage in the accounting compliance or even accounting consulting path unless bookkeeping's done. So bookkeeping is critical. But once bookkeeping is done, then the accounting role comes in. And by the way, just so you understand, you could be playing all these roles, which is usually the case. So the accounting role, the accounting hat comes on. You put on your accounting hat today and say, oh, now I'm working as an accounting professional, which means I am interpreting the data, verifying the data, possibly analyzing the data, because I want to prepare these books even further. And I want to provide information, real-time insights. I want to provide accurate and compliant information at this point. So now you're really dotting I's, crossing T's, and possibly preparing yourself for the conversation. But you're not having the conversation yet. Conversation is consulting. You're just preparing. Okay, this is the deeper analysis here. And then, of course, there is further accounting services you can provide. You can do monthly financial analysis. You can, again, provide deeper insights. You can, if you have a certified public accountant license, then you possibly are doing reviews and audits. You can do revenue and expense management, so audits and management of the revenue and expenses. Possibly you can talk about the business entity and check that out and see if they're in the right entity type. Accountants can, of course, also accounting professionals could also do some light tax planning, budgeting, and cash flow planning. So these are just additional services that may be included as an accounting professional. And then, of course, there is the tax preparation role, completely separate role. Okay, that role now, that hat, that person in that role, that human that put on their tax preparer hat. And just so you know, I've had to wear all those hats sometimes in the same week. Okay, I had to do my bookkeeper. Then tomorrow I'm going to be my accountant. And then the day after that, I'm going to be my tax preparer. Now, the way I've survived as a firm owner for 17 years is that I would have to wear those hats on different days. I could not wear them on the same day. It was too overwhelming. And so it would allow me to stay in the flow. And it also allowed me to what's called theme blocking, which like Tuesdays and Thursdays are tax days. And so I only do taxes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mondays and Wednesdays are maybe bookkeeping and accounting days, something like that. So I just wanted to share that as a quick tip.
That's
because some
tip.
people say, well, yeah, go ahead. Kate, we're going to say
No,
something?
that's a good tip. That's a really good tip.
Yeah. Good. And we'll talk about that in a minute too. I'm going to take a pause so we can go ahead and chat. So the compliance role here, what is this about? Again, it's really about taking that tax compliance role. So here you're processing preparing and then processing and possibly even filing tax forms alongside your clients. So this is a service that you're providing. And why are you doing this? Well, because the businesses have to satisfy specific obligations and requirements. And so this is now not only about accounting compliance, it's about tax compliance. And so those are the three roles. Again, here are some additional services or areas that you're focusing on as a tax preparer. So, the different tax forms, federal, local, and state, annual returns, sales, payroll tax returns. You can even do some projections since you're looking at the books. And if you're also doing the bookkeeping or possibly bookkeeping and accounting, you absolutely could help with quarterly estimates, tax projections, and as I mentioned before, even possibly some tax planning. Now, if you were doing tax representation, you'd need to be either a certified public accountant, CPA, an IRS enrolled agent like myself, the EA, or a tax attorney. Okay, so we're going to take a pause in a moment. But again, I just want to remind you, this was all for us to be able to make sure that we, as a goal, are completing the accounting compliance journey. Or, and this is something I want to be very clear about, if someone says, well, I don't ever want to do taxes, that's fine. But who is collaborating with you? Who is partnering with you? So that way your client is satisfying that role, right? They still need that role satisfied, even if you don't want to do taxes. And on the other hand, I have tax professionals say, well, I don't want to do bookkeeping. And so who is collaborating with you? How are you making sure that you and your client are reaching your true north? So I'm going to stop for a moment here, turn on my camera, take a little pause here and just see how that feels. And if we have any questions, Kate.
I'm putting in the chat real quick, y'all, a link to a live stream I did this past spring with a enrolled agent named Tom Norton, and the title was called "Should a Bookkeeper Become an Enrolled Agent?" I think he gives a great kind of breakdown of that. So I'm putting that in the chat. I'll try to remember to update the description of this video, but it's on the Bookkeeping Side Hustle channel. If you just search the word like enrolled, it will come up. There's a lot of synergies for being able to serve clients in like a full service way. But like Mariette said, you do not have to. Like I mean, as soon as you say plans like firm, God likes to laugh. But I was gonna say, I'll never prepare a tax return for money. I've prepared them for free as a volunteer, but like my desire to do that is zero. Like I don't even do our own return anymore. But plenty of people do. And so I know that we've actually interviewed a lot of people on this new series I'm doing, the Behind the Hustle series, where we're interviewing like people who are about somewhere between like 2 to 4 years in their journey, kind of early on. I really want to share those stories. And some of them are going full suite of services, doing taxes as well. So you just gotta do what you do every day, try to do more and more of what you like and less of what you don't like. And like I know, Mariette, with you, like even like when you were heavy into running the firm, like there was seasons of like which of those roles you kind of wore more.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, well, but I want to do the other stuff, so let me go get that.
Oh no. And there were seasons where I would have more staff or more, players or like my members or my players in my team. Cause I'm like, I don't want to do, and I'm just be honest, like I didn't really want to do W-2 or individual returns. I only wanted to do returns that I was doing the client's books. And then that was more exciting to transition and do their business returns. And of course I would also do their individual returns because I loved that challenge of, okay, this is a business. I did all their books. I'm closing the books. Now I'm going to do their returns. And of course, they're usually owners of those businesses. I have to do their personal returns. So I would take those on, but just the regular W-2s or super simple Schedule C clients, I just give them to my team members. I'm like, guys, this is a really good opportunity. You do the work. And I obviously taught him how to get it out quickly, had my systems, I had my tax software I was using, everything was online. I was using Intuit ProConnect Tax Online, which is an online tax software. And so literally everything was already set for them. I just plug and play, here's what you do. Let me stay in my lane. Let me focus on businesses, bookkeeping, accounting, and tax returns. You focus on personal, because I didn't want to discount the solopreneurs that were super small and had maybe some W-2 income and they did a little side hustle, right? They have Schedule C. I didn't want to not serve them because I was the mompreneur that focused on solopreneurs. So it's like, I would not say no to them, but I didn't have to do it myself. Right. So yeah.
Z Marie is saying that she does compliance work and has partnerships with the virtual CFO and CPA as needed. And Lainey, she's not doing corporate returns. So just lots of different. So to answer your questions on the screen, what are the core objectives for compliance roles? Like, I just keep thinking about it's that like the face of the client is like what should be the answer to this. Like the core objective is that client is safe and secure with their finances and feeding their family and growing their business. And like that's like a role, such a strong role that we play. Like, so it's it's not really an exaggeration to say that the financial like management side of the business is what's going to make or break the business. And so
Yes.
when that entrepreneur has trusted us enough to be a part of that team, that is going to help them, like, again, I say feed their family. I had a professor who always said,
oh no, I love that. That's like ultimately the core, right? It's the core goal of what we do.
Of compliance is to make sure that they are able to keep operating, able to keep their lights on,
and survive and thrive. Absolutely.
Well, and that's what I think the next, like that next tier to me, I feel like there's this idea of getting more out of it. And bookkeep, like, so there are some people who are like born to be a bookkeeper, and like just that, and it, like you said, you can't do any of the other stuff if the bookkeeping isn't done well inside. Like it's like everything after that is just crap upon more crap, you know, like bad analysis on top of bad analysis, and bad taxes on top of all those, you know. But those other roles, the CFO, the advisory role, that's where I think a lot of the thriving will come. Because so for the compliance roles, though, to me, like as I think about it, it's you can help someone stay in business longer than the statistics say, which is, you know, most businesses fail. Like that's just the honest truth. So we're going to keep them to beat that first statistic, and then they're going to grow. So
exactly. Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to actually, I love that you mentioned that, because I'm going to share a little bit more. But I love that you jumped into what the core objective looks like for you, because I think it's so important that we share that. So I am going to share what I believe. And again, I'm going to go through kind of from a context of the accounting services journey, but I love that you shared what you believe, because I believe the core objectives for bookkeeping is reporting in real time, so that way they have the information they need. Right. So for the bookkeeper, like, you just need to make sure that you are allowing them to see the reports in real time. Let me tell you, after 30 years in business, there has been so many times that I've heard that bookkeeping professionals are still not providing the data in real time. Like, I haven't seen my books in months. I only see my books once a year when I do taxes. And I'm like, no. Bookkeeping is providing reporting, which is the last of all the R's I told you, right? After the review, after the revise, after the reconcile. Reports in real time, meaning like we're in October 2025, they should already have their September reports. Like that's in real time. So that is the core objective. That's the goal. If you're not meeting that core goal, then to be honest, you're not serving that bookkeeping role, right? That's it. Everything else is amazing, but that is the core objective. And then I always say the core objective is accounting is now insights. So now that you, like, as you said, now that we have the good stuff, not the garbage in, the garbage out, we have all the good stuff, the bookkeeping, now we can talk about insights. Now we can prepare for conversations. Now we can, you know, have those conversations if we want to move into consulting for proper and more proactive decision making. You know, talk about educated decisions. Well, that can't be made if we don't have the data, if we don't have the reports. So those are what I call the core objectives for each one of those roles. And I'm just going to end with this, because I think this is important. And I'm not going to end with it, but I am going to kind of end our thought here. What's really important, I think it's perfect that Kate and I are talking about this. This is a mindset shift, right? Depending on where you've been in your business, to the point of, like, you know, when you're saying, well, I've never wanted to do that before. Or maybe as you've evolved and as you've, allowed yourself maybe to adopt new things, even AI and automation, you're shifting, you're evolving. Right? Which is really exciting. And so I always say there's an expansion that happens as you continue on this journey. And then you start realizing, well, I'm really building a relationship with this person. And that many times is what inspires you with what's next. Right? To Kate's point, I love when she's like, I've really filled myself with all of this. I should be doing this to my accountants. Like, they should know I am the FreshBooks queen. Like, that's who I am. And I'm not just saying it. I really hang out with FreshBooks. I go to all their partner meetings. I mean, I literally built my practice around it. Like, why don't people know that? Well, that's something you've been building in you. And now you have to build a relationship with us, so we know that about you. Right? Like, that's your next step. But it starts with, you have done all the work. You've done your compliance around FreshBooks, right? Yeah. Definitely. You know, I know that about you. So now you're building that relationship with us, right? You're saying, hey, I'm Kate, like, see me, like, this is what I can provide to you, right? And so I just feel like there's so much inner mindset work that we need to do as well when we're taking these paths. So I just wanted to share that before we move on. So I am going to cover one last topic before I introduce you to, what's next. And we kind of already did our pause here and talked about our direction in regards to bookkeeping and accounting when we were talking about the core objectives. I already checked in. So let me go ahead and share a little bit about accounting consulting. Again, this is really focusing on questions that I get. So I get some common questions about accounting consulting. And so I'm going to really focus the rest of the few minutes on that. And then I'll jump in again with Kate and see if we can have a chat. And then I'll go ahead and start closing us up and see if there's anything else you want to chat about.
Perfect.
Okay. So let's close with some key questions around accounting consulting. One of the first questions I get quite a bit is, what does that transition look like? So what does the transition look like from compliance to consulting? So we spent quite a bit talking about consulting and having a conversation about consulting from a perspective of the mindset shift, and it comes next, right? But what does that actual transition look like? So we started with accounting compliance, and we want to move into accounting consulting. So I think at this point, we've made it very clear. It's A to B, B to C, right? So we've gotten to B. For this moment, we're going to live in a world that we've all made it to point B. We're all providing accounting compliance. So we now have the path that opens up to accounting consulting. And so what does that look like? Again, we've reached our true north. We're providing accounting compliance to our clients, and we're building that into our own principles and practice. So we open up to accounting consulting. So I always love to say that accounting compliance are your core services, and accounting consulting are your plus services. And again, it just takes away some of that pressure. Like, I have to do everything. No, you don't. You can absolutely build a business, build a journey, work for somebody else. So you can work for someone in an accounting role, and just provide core services. It's very much needed. It's very much in demand that people come in and they actually understand the core services of accounting compliance. However, once you've mastered that, you absolutely can consider what's next for you and what does that look like through the plus services. And again, here are just some examples: accounting advisory, tax advisory, and possibly chief financial officer. And again, I go deep into every single one of these roles in my free course on my community, which I'll share at the very end. So I'm not going to go deep and define each one of these, but you can watch that free course, and I go very deep. And I also have opportunities if you'd like to have discussions like we're doing now, where we can go even deeper into them. The next question I get is, okay, let's say you understand what each role is. Let's say you went ahead and watched my course and you're like, okay, Mariette, I know each role. I see my potential. And so how do I build? Like, how do I actually do it? I'm ready to build. Think of this as a very simplified planning session right now. I'm giving you a quick plan in about 2 minutes. Okay, so this is how it would look like. Again, I love frameworks. So here's another framework. This is my framework on how to build into your accounting services journey. Now remember, highlighted and bolded before we start, this is your journey. Okay, so this is going to maybe look different for other people, but this is the average journey of building from what? We're going to stick with the accounting services journey. So we're building from A, bookkeeping, to B, accounting, to C, consulting. So monthly bookkeeping and financial organization. Kate said it perfectly. If you're not doing the organization and the management, you can't move forward. Like, that's literally how we keep the lights on. Month-end reconciliations and financial statement preparation. Absolutely. At the end of every month, quarter, and absolutely at the end of the year, we're making sure everything's tight, everything's reconciled, and you are preparing the financial statements. I didn't say you're delivering them or consulting on them. You're definitely not reviewing them or auditing them if you're not a CPA, but you absolutely can prepare them. And then lastly, you're providing any other type of industry or specific skill set. You're completing those tasks, and you know you have what? You have reached that compliance, you're doing the bookkeeping, and you're ready for the accounting work. Accounting work is the deeper financial analysis, providing real-time insights and possibly preparing conversations around them. And at this time, you're probably thinking about becoming an industry expert because you've got those, you've already mastered the compliance. So now you're thinking about niches and expertise in specialty areas. You could, at this point, even start thinking about what's the best entity type for your the client or the business that you're serving. What are pros and cons? You can think about those choices. You can bring in a collaborative partner, a tax professional, or an enrolled agent to start having those deeper conversations. And again, if you're a certified public accountant, you could be providing financial reviews and audits. And if you're an accounting professional, you could possibly start tapping into some tax planning. And then we think about the consulting. So what does consulting look like? This is where you're going deeper. You're meeting with that financial team. You're managing the data. You're providing real-time monitoring and KPIs, key performance indicators. You may be doing services like budgeting, cash flow planning, goal setting, growth planning. You may be providing some strategic planning. And again, this is really about relationship building. And then, of course, every business needs to think about what's next. That could be succession planning, risk mitigation, and so much more. And that's why consulting is huge. You can go into so many paths when you're thinking about consulting. Now, here's something I always like to pause and really make sure everybody understands. So today we were talking about services. We weren't talking about your business roadmap. And this is really important that I just really pause and explain this because many people think, oh, okay, so then I need this all. Well, it depends. Are you building a business? Are you building an accounting, a bookkeeping, accounting, or tax business? Or are you only focusing on your services? And I say that because I teach the full business roadmap. I teach the accounting services business model roadmap. So this is how you build your whole business model. But what's important is that to provide services, to actually be a bookkeeping, accounting, or tax professional, you're really focusing on the delivery of the services. So learning the accounting compliance, possibly focusing on mastering the technology and delivering the insights. So these are the actual services. If you are building a business, there's an entire roadmap for that. And so it starts with, of course, learning the sales side of your business, learning the technical side of your business, and then learning what I call the delivery and delight. So how do you move forward? And that's why, if you can see, consulting is actually at the very end of your roadmap, because once you've mastered your business, build your systems, understand how to sell your services, then yes, you can plus your services. But you can't plus your services until you've mastered being a business owner. And again, I'm not saying you have to have a business to provide accounting services. You actually can provide accounting services and get hired and learn these and provide those services. Or, of course, you can provide the services for your own business. And if that's the case, then I want you to be aware that there's an entire roadmap for that. Okay. So I'm going to do one more check-in before we wrap it up and just see how we feeling, Kate. What is that? Well, I mean, I'm curious. What do you think about that concept of, like, yes, we need to be technical and learn our services, but then business is a whole nother ball game?
Yeah, no, 100%. My latest newsletter that I write on Substack was about all the hats that we wear, and I actually made this sort of a joke of list of, like, from janitor all the way up to, like, the chairman emeritus or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like ridiculous. It's ridiculous the amount of things that you have to do if you really want to run a full business. But I think accounting really does lend itself, especially to different seasons of life. I was a military spouse. I am a military spouse. That's how my whole situation got started, as a reluctant entrepreneur. And I definitely was in that 3, 4, 5 like area first. Like,
yeah.
I didn't actually work for anyone. Actually, that's not true. I had a couple of clients, and then my tax guy, actually, I worked on projects for him. And that's an example of, like, just kind of sitting a little more in that step 3, 4, 5, like,
yeah,
providing the services. Now I definitely no question, I'm the business owner. I mean, and you kind of have to dabble in some of that business setup. You probably need a business bank account if you're going to be like 1099ing for a bunch of different accounting firms, maybe doing cleanup projects for someone else. But like, depending on your season of life, you could sit there for a long time and make a very good living, have control of your schedule, not have all the headaches. And there is a cost to those headaches. Like the unpaid time of an entrepreneur, some of that is, your effective hourly rate. For some people, their effective hourly rate might be higher just delivering those services, and not clocking in and clocking out, but kind of almost clocking in and clocking out.
Yeah.
Rather than to have it always be like mentally on about, your checklist is 100 miles long. If you're a business owner, like you're never done. There's always more marketing. There's always more websites are getting broken.
Well, I think that's such a good point, because I think that, depending on how, and I also have to be honest, it depends on how you joined, what your journey looks like in regards to how you joined the whole entire bookkeeping journey. Because maybe you came in and just said, I just came in and my goal is to start a business. At that point, you're trying to do all 1 through 6 in the roadmap at once, right?
Yep.
Or maybe it's like, I was doing it on the side. Someone said, they really saw my gift and my talent around bookkeeping, and I was kind of doing it for 1, 2, 3 people. Then I started doing it for more. So to Kate's point, now I have to go back and figure out, how do I figure out what a discovery stage looks like, and how am I going to bring in and make sure I onboard a new business owner? I didn't think I was going to have more than one. Yep. Now I have 3. So it's like, a lot of times, yes, we start, and I did too. I worked in corporate accounting for 10 years before I opened my practice, and then did that for, more than a decade after that. So I came in very technical. I had already done my 3, 4, 5. Like I knew, like I come from the audit world. So I was in audit in corporate accounting, public accounting. Then I went to corporate accounting. And so I was obsessed with work papers, and people were like, what the heck are work papers? And I'm like, how do you not know what a work paper is? Like, you could not leave the office unless you had a work paper. Like the manager would not even, they literally have you with a chain, like, where's your work paper?
Yeah.
So, but I understand now, when I started teaching about 7 years ago, specifically to bookkeepers and accountants, it's going to go on. Yeah. Good 7, 8 years that I've been teaching only all of you. Before I was teaching, business owners, they would be like, Mira, I don't know what the heck a work paper is, and I'd say, okay, no problem. And then I would go back and I'd add it into my content, because I made assumptions of things that I thought most accounting professionals knew. And so, to that point, like even in that quadrant of the 3, 4, 5, like I have had to add a lot of new content, because I just made assumptions we were all coming from the same place. That is not right. We're coming from so many different places. And I've actually taught people that are, I have an MBA. I'm like, okay. And then I teach them that. I said, I have no idea what that is. I'm like, okay, so it doesn't matter. MBA, CPA, EA. Now I've realized that the letters don't matter either. Like I just want to serve all of you. Right. And I need to not make any assumptions either. So awesome. Okay. So I am going to just share some last minute thoughts before I go. Is there anything you want me to kind of discuss on or go deeper on before we close it up?
No, I think this is fantastic. And I obviously there's so much more richness that can happen. So I'll put that link in the chat again right now for her free program at the end of October. And following her on LinkedIn, there's she's always doing something, y'all. So if you're watching this after October and you're like, oh no, like just say, Mariette, I need you, and she'll have something you to sign up for. So
LinkedIn is my
in the chat right now.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and share a little bit. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. We're going to say something?
No, I was just going to say you can take us on home. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're going to take us home. And of course, I'll come back and just say bye to Kate. But I just want to let you know, yes, you're all welcome to my free accounting series, completely free. I've done this several times. It's always, I get chills because I didn't want to show you here, but sometimes I'll do these little banners with input bubbles of all the thank yous and transformations, because there's so many beautiful transformations that happen. So this is the concept of building your path from the tax-ready bookkeeper. So you could be a bookkeeper, again, focusing on moving to the accounting compliance, which we want. And then you can build your path to the confident consultant. You don't need to though. And I think that's clear as of today. I just want you to know your role. So I really want you to know your role. And so in this series, I actually focus in 3 different areas. I focus on, really going into the definition of your role. So we go much deeper into that. On the second day, I talk about designing your system. So based on your role, now that you know your role and what you're going to do, to Kate's point, this is where I'm focusing, then here are the systems you should probably build. So everybody's systems they need to build are going to look different because you have your own path. So I'm going to give you just a couple of simple examples of what I did when I wanted to be real super simple. And then I know that people have gone, more vast and more technical in regard to their workflows and their onboarding processes. We're not going to do that. I'm going to show you how you can start simple. And then of course you can evolve from there. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the power of delivering with confidence. And so again, to the point where, the conversation I was just having with Kate, I have made a roadmap. I've created content that really serves all of those gaps, because before I thought, so many people knew all these different things. I've realized, pull that away and just give them everything. So I want to provide you a framework that I love. I've been teaching it now for over, 15 years. I was doing the math. I started back in 2010. It's called the Accounting Life Cycle, and it teaches you the life cycle that every business is supposed to be going alongside their accounting partner. So this is what you should be doing alongside the business owner to make sure that you're serving them year round. And so I love it. It's one of my favorite things to teach on my goals list. I got to create a book for it because I've been now teaching it for 15 years. I should have a book out there on it. But I'll be teaching you behind the scenes on what that life cycle looks like. And so, so 3 days interactive. We're focusing on the accounting services. Then I'm going to give you one of my favorite systems, which is the profile method, how to assess for success. So that's one of the simple methods I'm going to teach. And then I'm going to teach you as well the proven framework, which is my accounting life cycle that I teach in my cohort. And so that's what we're going to cover together in that 3-day series. So super excited to have you all there. Completely free, guys. Again, no strings attached. The one thing I will share, though, that at the very end, I will be revealing my cohort. So I will be opening a cohort. It's a cohort I try to give it every year. I actually skipped a year because 2024 was really busy. And so I'm bringing it back. It's one of the favorites of my community members in accounting, bookkeeping, and taxes. They love this one. It's called the Accounting Life Cycle Bootcamp. And I'll share more about it at the very end of the training. So if you make it to the end of the training, also there's going to be a winner. You're going to get a special winner. You don't have to do anything other than attend all days. And I'm going to give out a really cool prize at the very end. And then I'm going to reveal our whole cohort then. Other than that, my friends, you can join us at masteryourbooks.com. If you go to masteryourbooks.com, but first use the link I prefer here in anything that Kate shares, use her link. But if you can't find it for some reason, just go to masteryourbooks.com, and I have a banner right on the top of my page that says join the training, and you can click there too. But I think Kate's going to share it here in the video and everywhere else that she shares. So please use her link, because I do want to know all the amazing people that are coming through from Kate. And then last but not least, because I promised, so how do you get access to the free course? So you go, again, if you go to masteryourbooks.com, you can actually see it says MYB community. So I have my community. Join my community. And when you join, you're going to get access to a bunch of free spaces. But just say hi. Be like, hey, I just hung out with you in Kate's session. Can I get access to the accounting services course? And I'll just give you free access to the course. So join the community, send me a quick hi in the DM, and then I will give you access to the full course. Included is a really cool guide. It's called the Accounting Services Guide, from bookkeeping to accounting consulting. This is illustrated by my daughter. So my daughter's been doing graphic design since she was 12. She's turning 20 this year, so she's gotten really good. And she designed this guide for all of you. It's beautiful. It's like 17 pages long. And it goes through every single role, gives you all the details, and pretty much it goes in unison with the course. So feel free to get it. And by the way, it's all free. So there you go.
Fantastic. Anything else? See, Marie's saying, as usual, this looks so amazing, super helpful, and looking forward to the training. Glad you're here. Is this any more slides, Mariette?
No, I'm done.
All right, I'm gonna just bring our faces up bigger here.
Yes.
I appreciate the work that you put in, obviously tailoring this and just taking your knowledge and getting it into a presentation. That's so hard. So thank you for the effort that just to make it clear. Like I think I was at first I started to write down how many times you said clarity because I felt like that was like a theme of this. And I think you have a lot of clarity about where you're going, and it will help the accounting professionals have clarity about their role. Some people commented that. I asked like how clear do people feel? We have an 8, a 5. Someone's gone between 1 and 10. It depends on the day.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where I would land. But it's a good thing to think about being clear about our role. And so thank you for just being clear with us today. So, and having lots of clarity. We will share this. We'll continue to share this as we lead up to October in the Bookkeeping Side Hustle community. And I'm excited to hear great success stories out of that. And then out of your circle community, people are joining after the October live program. So y'all just stay in touch. Again, Mariette has 30 years. So you said 30 years.
I know. I'm like, do I even say that? Should I say it or maybe not?
But like that's the kind of person that you want to learn from. People who've taken their lumps, people who have been unclear and gotten clear.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your time, and we will sign off for now. I think our next stream, folks, we're doing another Behind the Hustle with a gal named Barb Skinner next week. So I hope you're subscribed to the channel, and we'll chime in and listen into that show. Adios for now, everyone. Bye.
Adios.